Hello everyone, welcome back to the stream. We're here on Assetto Corsa once again for the next round, the fourth round of our Mazda Multiclass Series. It's good to be back, welcome. We had a great round last week at Autopodus Short for the third round. If you didn't catch it, well, we ended up kind of dominating that race. It was, very dominant victory. Felt very comfortable in the car. And we didn't have any issues whatsoever. We now come to a track that is quite different in Homestead Roval. In Homestead Roval. Right, get going for qualifying, just setting the fuel. Long flat out section on the back end of this circuit. As you'll see, quite a few straights. Apart from the oval section, the straights aren't too long, but they do lead into some big braking zones. So, some good overtaking opportunities. Should be an interesting race. It's quite different. There's no sort of long, medium to high-speed corners like we've seen in Autopodus. The corners a lot shorter. A lot more acute, you could say, than what we've seen, So it should be interesting. It will be a very different race. I think the grid is going to be a little bit shuffled from what we've seen at Autopodus. There's a big setup compromise to be made. How much straight line speed do you want around the oval section coming into T1? And how much more do you want a little more stability for the infield and try and get a little bit more cornering speed? It's going to be interesting to see here. Looking at practice, Pavoping in a time late in the session to put himself clear, looking to retake his form from the first two rounds, from at least the first round of the series, where he was somewhat untouchable. It's like the form we had at Autopodus, but yeah, we will have to see how qualifying goes. Right then, onto the circuit. Managed to get out very quickly. Now, I haven't done any low fuel runs, so I'm not sure what to expect exactly from the car in low fuel. Of course, running minimum rear wing for the top speed does leave the car a bit slidey, especially under braking. I have the final hairpin and it's flat out to start finish line now. Taking the shortest distance by hugging the left hand side. These cars easily have enough grip to get around the oval flat out. Towards T1 flat out through turn 1, then get into the braking zone of turn 2, a tricky braking zone through left-hander. Don't want to take too much curb on the inside. Turn 3, long left-hander, track kind of crests a bit, but then you get this dip through turn 4, gives you some grip and allows you to fire some speed through turn 5 onto the first of the infield straights. Heading towards turn 6 hairpin now. Tricky braking zone, braking just before the 200 board, rear locking, car wanting to slide in, use the curb on the exit, open up turn 7, which is easy flat out in these cars, don't need to use the curb on the exit, and towards turn 8 hairpin, then braking a bit later, the 100 board, this hairpin a bit tighter, but you want to get a good exit here because now, as I said, flat out to the line. I think I'm going to try pushing the brake bias forward 1%. Just getting quite a bit too much rear locking in the braking zones. Hug left hand side here. 23.7 is our opening time. The rear end sliding about through turn 2. And it's not a good run through there. Better run through turn 4 though. Better exit out of the hairpin there. Just doing some manual blipping on the downshifts to settle the rear locking. This lap is not going to be an improvement. We'll start the next lap, but if it's not going well, we will abort it. Slid in too quick. So we will abort this lap, go back to the pits. It'll be generic, it'll be brake bias. All around 52%. Wait for Tom to go by. Now we'll run to the end of the session. Big gap from Pavot to the rest of the field behind. Still 5 minutes left of our qualifying session. Myself a little bit more of a gap. Actually, just to let myself wander up the track here, give me more space, more time to accelerate and build speed. Running a bit wide through turn 2. Didn't invalidate the lap, but certainly lost a lot of lap time. Yeah, with the low wing angle, the rear is struggling for grip. Oh, am I going to hit traffic here? That brake bias adjustment hasn't helped that much. Pavot pips us for the top of the timesheets. Time for 2 more laps. Got held up. It's a good start to the lap too. Thing is, I don't have much space behind me. Just kind of stuck between 2 cars. And now that we're onto the back straight, we're committed. Pavot's find a little bit more time. I think he is going to have pole position this time. Even better through turn 1, but not a good run through turn 3. Yeah, just rear end sliding all over. But I think they'll get held up by traffic. Look at the car in front again. Or maybe we could get a good slipstream run to the end. Didn't get the traction. Didn't get the exit. No, I don't think we're gaining half a second. So we'll practice the pit entry. Got better pit entry than them. But yeah, it'll be second on the grid for us. Second on the grid. I think definitely bring us back to 52. Fuel will go back up to the fill. Now the question is, how many laps will this race be? Is a good question. Yeah, I'll try lower rear. I mean, it's a risk to make that sort of change just before the race, but we'll try it. Yeah, maybe that'll help settle the rear down. Maybe it'll reduce a little bit more drag to get us a little bit more top speed. You know, we're taking a little bit of rake out of the car. Yeah, so maybe that'll help. I mean, we don't necessarily need more front grip. The car has more front grip than what the rear can handle. So yeah, I need to do a fuel calculation as well as a lap calculation. 123, so expecting probably 44, maybe 45 laps. We're going to need 7 liters. Sorry. 6 liters of fuel in our pit stop. That's a little bit more than we needed last week. I'll put this, and yeah, we'll see if this setup so yeah, let us watch some of the MX5s. Not that one. I don't think this track has any actual track cameras. So let's pick a nice onboard one. Yeah, this will do. Ashil on a slow lap now. Everyone's in the first sectors. Who's that coming past? Number 7. Sean McArdle, half a second up on their already provisional pole time. Rhys Tarrant also 3/10 up. Rhys Tarrant's lost a bit of time in the middle sector. Sean has found some time. And it is just flat out to the line from here. Up to the line then for Sean McArdle. This lap time will be a 1:34.002. Rhys Tarrant coming across the line trying to proof. We'll jump up to P3, but over a second. But will not last long there. And Duncancos popping in just half a tenth in front. Dave Tweets going to second. Alex Wood, decent time, pops up into 5th place between Cancos and Tarrant. That's half a tenth, separating 3 cars now. Alex Wood running in deep to the first corner. Ashil on an improvement in the first sector. Trying to maybe use the slipstream of Sean McArdle, but we'll need to close up a little bit. Has fallen a little too far back. Stevie Bean putting in a good first sector as well. Can see different lines through this hairpin between Sean and Ashil. Sean, much wider entry, tightening up the exit, straightening up the exit, should be said. Trying to get a better exit, carry the speed onto the oval round to start their next flying lap. Ashil not improving in the middle sector anymore. Stevie Bean still on a good lap. It's not looking good for pole position at the moment, but will be good enough for second place. Is hugging the wall round the oval. Thinks there's time to be found up here. Or maybe feels like they got per hairpin. Cutting down, so trying to grab a bit of speed off the oval. And Aaron pops up into P7 ahead of Ben Myatt. Stevie's going on for another push lap here. Into T2, the rear end just sliding ever so slightly. I see Andy Aaron making a mistake, slamming into the wall on the inside exit of turn 2. The curb just tipping Stevie into a little bit of spin. Early turn in into turn 3. The car not satisfied. That car just sliding all over the place. And this lap not really going to be of any good. Stevie Bean, I don't think anymore. Let's see split timing. Yeah, that is half a second down on what they did last lap in the first sector. But not many other people improving. Let's actually go to Andon Cancos. Which is just the next car behind Stevie, is improving a bit, though the time not looking that great compared to pole position. 4.5 tenths down after the first sector. Let's see what the split will be after the middle sector to the final hairpin now. Oh, big correction there coming out of the hairpin, and is now 3/4 of a second off the pole time. It's still a personal best. So just needs to keep a clean run. Round the oval. You can see Stevie in front. He's holding that lower line. Though it is still over half a second off where they were the previous lap. Stevie does improve in the end. Pops up to 8th place. Kankos does improve. Not enough to improve from P4 into T1. Nearly getting onto the grass, the curb on the entry. Runs themselves a little bit deep, a little bit wide on the exits. Johnny Ashley bumps himself up to P5. Johnny's been struggling this series, so good to see him pop up into the top half of the grid. And we're getting first sector times in for drivers as Johnny Ashley returns to the pits. Reese Tarrant improving, only a 10th off the pole time. Stevie B in 3/10 off. Dave Tweets half a 10th off. The drivers may just about get round for one more lap. Alex Wood improves to take P4 from Kankos, bumping Ashley down to P6. And Dave Tweets actually purple in the middle sector. And with how simple the final sector is, as long as he didn't overshoot it into the final hairpin, it could be pole position for Dave Tweets, as Sean McArdle is not improving as things stand. I believe Sean will cross line now and does not improve. Next to cross line will be Reese Tarrant. It won't be a pole position, but will bump up to P2. Dave Tweets still further back. Stevie B and bumps themselves up to P4, 100th of a second behind Reese Tarrant. Dave Tweets improves and is just under a 10th of a second off the top time. Final cars crossing the line now to start their final laps. We still are on board with Dave Tweets sitting in second. Sean McArdle has made a mistake and his qualifying has come to a close. Reese Tarrant also pulling off, has had a spin out of turn 4. Stevie Bean coming to a stop as well. A lot of people dropping off, but 2 of our drivers still going, still improving. Dave Tweets just at 5 thousandths of a second off Sean McArdle's first sector. Kankos nearly 4 attempts, but might be enough to jump themselves up a few positions. Currently sitting P7. Andy Hearn also with a personal best. Let's see what the middle sector split is here. It's 6 tenths off, and actually it's Dave Tweets who's improving, but it looks like, sounds like maybe the car just bogged down a little bit on the exit of the final hairpin. He's not close enough for any slipstream. Is pulling up to the high line of the oval, running the extra distance. How is he going to get the extra speed for it? He comes back down low as they get on to the final corner. Long left-hander using a little bit of the apron, whether intentionally or mistakenly. I don't know. Andy Hearn actually up on Kankos. Kankos running a really, really shallow line. Does not improve in the end. Dave Tweets does take pole position by half a 10th to Sean McArdle. Andy Hearn across the line. I think he did improve up to, what was it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th place. Yeah, it does take it, and that's a good qualifying session. But yeah, now we're getting ready for the race. We have 24 drivers here this evening. We're expecting a couple more. That track is going to be a little bit grippier in the race than it was for qualifying. That might help our balance. Yeah, it might help the balance of the car. Sometimes you get it, you know, with the different tire sizes. When the track rubber's in, you know, the balance of the car can shift a bit. And the smaller tires not gaining as much grip as the bigger tires. I don't think it's a big tire size difference on these cars. With the inside for turns 1 and 2. Of course, Pavot got a really poor start last time, so he did. So you never know what will happen. But yeah, 12 and 12 in each class. Perfectly even split. Let's see how this race goes. And the good slipstreaming opportunity down the back, you know, down through the oval section, maybe will help drivers stay close. Let's get our overlay back. Quick check of the pit menu. And we are ready for the start then. From second place on the grid, here come the lights. All right, start. Okay. Trying to overtake me when there isn't space off the track. That was a silly decision. Oh, that's way too deep. It's not been a good start. Big snap of oversteer there for Pavot. Holy hell. Is that a lag incident or what? No idea what happened there. So a bit of a poor start there. We've dropped back to P3. Let's try and sell into this race though. See if we can move forward at all. Too deep into turn 2 again. Or turn 3, sorry. Pavot running a little bit wide there onto the grass. Just letting the car run a bit wide onto the grass. Of course, don't know what people are doing strategy-wise. Cars in front might have a lot less fuel than us. But we are pulling away from the cars behind. That looks like a car crawling back to the pits, unfortunately. We've just got into the slipstream here. You can see how much we're closing up. Thought I move, but didn't think it'd be sensible. Snap of oversteer for Tom in front, going into the hairpin. Tom struggling with oversteer in the rear locking. Project right into the slipstream. Of course, we're gonna have to go around the outside. Oh, there's a big bump there on the oval and just got me out. I didn't think it was going to affect the car as badly as it did. Unfortunately, that big slide has hurt the tires. Hopefully they're able to cool down and come back into pressure. Otherwise, it could be a bit more of a difficult race. Might be worth coming to pit lane early, maybe when we come up to the Mazdas, getting into clean air and letting the tires cool down. I mean, it is a short pit stop, so it is. And we're now already 10 seconds off the lead after that mistake. I think we've got one more lap before we will catch MX5s. The tires have come back down. So maybe we do just stay out. Yeah, we'll probably catch the MX5s in about 1 lap time. Another personal best lap a second quicker than the car in front. Oh, a bit rear locking. They bounced off the curb, bounced them wide onto the grass. That's going to be P3 back. Fortunately, I'm a bit of a poor corner myself. Yeah, so the pace difference is about 10 seconds between the two classes. There's the MX5 traffic. Some racing going on there into the hard pit. Snap of oversteer. MX5 really squeezed me onto the curb there. Not that appreciated. I think it's 4 more MX5s to pass. A little bit deep, trying to get past the MX5. Want to avoid going around the outside with that bump. also chasing Tom down for P2. We're a second and a half back now. Yeah, you'll also notice the pit stops going up. There is an element if you cut T1 a little too much, well, not necessarily cut it, but just take too much of the inside curb, you will just ever so briefly clip the pit lane. They're starting to stretch their lead, or continuing to stretch their lead, I should say, at the front of the field. Certainly closed in a bit this lap. Real good consistency from Tom across those last two laps. A bit too wide there. Can see Tom struggling for traction. Just a little too far back for the slipstream this time around. That's bad hairpin, running a little bit wide. And just trying to carry speed. Ran the car into the grass. We're into slipstream now. Oh, don't spin it. I was trying to hold a tight line. I knew Tom was going to look for a cut back there. So he's just trying to hold a tight line and he still got his nose in there. I don't think he expected me to stay as tight as I was. Now Tom is going to have the slipstream. And also Alice in P4 has caught up again. Let's see what Tom can do with the slipstream. Is closing, but not nearly as much as I was. I just take the grass. I am not treating the tires well this race. Alice hasn't kept close enough for the slipstream. Oh, I caught behind this MX5. Which had a little tangle there with Alice. See one of the MX5s coming into pit lane. Right now we try and set our sights forward again. Try and chase Tom. I looked at the rear brakes there and I was like, if I release this brake to stop the rears from locking, I'm just going to run into the MX5 in front. They now go for pit lane. We're nearly halfway through this race. 27 minutes into the race. 33 minutes plus 1 lap to go. So still a long way. P2 is still certainly within our grasp. Taking victory again though, I would say, is well out of reach. Not unless Peugeot has issues, and I don't suspect that they will. Just seeing the tyre wear, I'm like, maybe I pit soon and take new tyres. Because my tyres aren't in good shape. You know what, let's just pit right now. Don't want too many gears accidentally. So yeah, we'll change tyres, so we'll put in a little bit of fuel that we need, and then we'll go full push. Weird texture on the tyres. Don't know if that's meant to be flat spots or not. So now we're into clear air and we're gonna just push. Yes, this will certainly be a personal best lap. It'll still be a few tenths off of Pavot's fastest time. But yeah, just don't have the pace of him. This race, tomping in a personal best lap, which he will need as we try and chase him down. And Pavot's into the pits at this halfway mark, so maybe he's taking tyres as well. He's just come into his pit box and he's still there, so I think that is a long stop, which will be 4 tyres. And he's just leaving now. Yeah, he's by just under 30 seconds in front of us, which is around about where he was before we pitted. I got a little bit close with Stevie there. Car definitely feels nicer to drive now on new tyres. That's not good. A good turn 2. Yeah, that's 6/10 gone. What a pathetic first sector of the lap. Not what I need to try and catch the cars in front when they eventually make their pit stops. One car's into the pits and will easily come out in front of them. Yeah, I think we're going to need to be much closer than 29 seconds if we want to try and get second place this race. Now if Tom and Pavot start fighting a bit, might slow Tom down a bit. He's had a slow lap at 26.3. That MX5, not the best rejoin, especially with the speed differences between the two classes. Pavot is into the lead now. Doesn't look like Tom is close enough to take advantage of slipstream. Car in the wall. Don't know what the exact time loss for a pit stop is. I mean, we know they're going to be stationary for a fairly short time with their short fuel stop. Car facing backwards in the wall. Personal best here. Just a tenth off Peugeot's fastest time now. Gained about 2 seconds on the cars who were trying to chase down that lap, so it was a good lap. Of course, their tyres are only going to be getting worse and worse, and they still have to make their mandatory pit stop for the race. They have been through a bit of traffic. Still gained 1.5 seconds last lap. I wonder if either of them will pit early to try and cover me off. Oh, that's it. MX5 into the wall. How you find yourself in that wall, I do not know. "14 minutes plus 1 lap left in this race." Too late turning into turn 4, the right-hander there. Done that a few laps now in a row. Little late on the brakes there. They'll lead to a good cutback on the MX5 of Stevie Bean. Now 19 seconds behind Tom. "13 behind Alice. And they're in traffic at the moment, so they've been losing time this lap. At the rear end, sliding through the hairpin, just giving me a poor exit onto the straight. Tom is into the pits. So this is key. If we get out in front of Tom, we have a good run to P2. A clear run to P2, really. If we're behind him, he's just coming into his pit box now, I think. So we will be clear of him. By about 7 seconds. And so by that case, you'd have to say we'll get past Alice as well. Too much rear locking there. "10 minutes plus 1 lap to go." This race has gone through fairly quickly, I must say. But we're going to catch a few MX5s here in the technical first sector. I'm surprised that MX5 didn't slide off the track. I've left the door open, so we'll take that spot. Just slipping on through, not losing too much time. There's a car around here, it's a lapped car. Also, at some point, Pavo's put a faster lap in, 23.2. So now you've got a quarter second find on our faster lap time. If we want to take, on our personal best lap, I should say, if we want to take the fastest lap of the race. MX5 is going high quite early. I'll clip on the inside of that. The tall edge of that inside curb. Fight here for P8. That's not the line. Now, great thing of doing a slipstream. Where are they going? That's a interesting line. That's a falling asleep at the wheel line. Oh, might be on for a personal best lap here. Oh, that airpin wasn't great. Might still be a personal best, but it'll be by hundredths. Alice is now pitted, so we'll take P2 back. That's some way to take turn 2. Rear tires starting to slide around at the end of this race. Coming up to lap another Formula Mazda. That's a good turn to start this lap. I don't like people that let you pass like that. I mean, that was certainly a better way to do it, you know, braking really to make sure I, you know, wasn't going to run into the back of them. But, you know, it's hard to predict that. Three minutes left in the race. We will have 4 laps to go. Wrestling the car through the opening sector of the lap. Driving it less like a single-seater, more like a rally car. Using all of the carb out of the first hairpin. What are you doing? I think that MX5 needs a alcohol test. Can't even drive in a straight line. Balfour P6 up ahead. The track not quite getting to saturated grip this week, since we were missing 5 people from the total sign-ups. But we've got pretty close, so we have. Leader has crossed the line for 2 more laps as time runs out. Starting the penultimate lap now. Really pushing the limits there through T1. I don't think we're gonna get fastest lap here. Certainly not. Not with the traffic here. Are we in the slipstream? Just a bite. On to the final lap then. Oh, that was a little nerve-wracking. And they aren't taking a defensive line. A little bit naughty as he was being lapped. Fight for P16 between the two MX5s in front. It's going to be a drag race to the line. Oh, look at that. It's going to be so close. Johnny's just about going to hold it off in the end there. We finished just over 20 seconds behind. We made some inroads to Pivot in that second stint. In that latter portion of the race, or last 10 minutes. But we had the gap. Our first half of the race was just way too messy. But yeah, that race has gone by so quickly. So it has. Oh, that was good fun. In a way, it was more interesting than last week's. We had some battles early on, and with sort of struggling with the road tires, we went for a different strategy, and you could say it paid off. It seemed like it paid off, but don't know if we would have got closer to Pivot if yeah, I don't know if we've got closer to Pivot if, you know, if we didn't change tires, if he would have gone for the same strategy or whatnot. But yeah, 20 seconds exactly to the 1000th behind Pivot. Yeah, interesting race. We were 0.1% away from getting to the max. So yeah, that is then going to do it for today's stream. Some good racing at Homestead, a difficult track, not as well as it went at Fuji, but we did have a couple of good battles, some fun. Yeah, enjoyed that. 22 seconds, considering how messy our first half of our race was. I will absolutely, yeah, I'll absolutely, that's completely fine. I think, yeah, PS, we weren't too far from Pivot. We just didn't quite have the consistency, and yeah, we didn't get a good start. Put us in some traffic, and yeah, we were, yeah, we struggled to get our way back to P2. But yeah, when we got some clear air, it wasn't too bad. Still not as consistent as I would have liked, but not much that can be done about that. But yeah, I'll be back on Thursday at 8 PM UK time for our usual LMP3 versus GTE series. This week we're at Interlagos. I did some laps around there. Fun. The LMP3 is fun around Interlagos. Feeling good after some laps. So yeah, hopefully we'll be as competitive as we were at Sebring. Pick up another podium, continue our podium streak. That would be nice. Where exactly on the podium will be? Well, only time will tell. First couple of corners in Interlagos, it's easy to get up in an instant or two, and we've seen how how things can be. First lap as they were at Sebring, we've seen that dive bomb behind us. Helped us to free our at Sebring. We could be the driver involved. Of course, we do have to get our qualifying down first of all as well. Maybe a couple of other drivers will have a better run at Interlagos than what they had at Sebring. Some people saying yes, it was a very tough circuit. Then we'll be back on Tuesday for round 5, the penultimate round of the Mazda Multiclass Series. We're heading to Phillip Island. Typical motorbike tracks, some long, medium to high speed corners, a couple of tight corners as well, but a lot more open corners. Very different track from this, a bit more similar to Autopolis, so maybe we'll run a little bit better there than we did this week at Homestead, but only time will tell on that front. But yeah, thank you all very much for popping in. Thank you for lurking and or watching back. Hope you enjoyed that race. Hopefully I'll see you again on Thursday. If not, maybe again next Tuesday. But until then, have a good rest of your week. Have a good weekend if I don't see you on Thursday. Until next time, take care. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.